Welcome to 2025, ladies and gentlemen. It's a new year. It's going to be a new me. I'm just kidding. It's the same me. But hey, you know what? There's going to be a lot of new in this year. And specifically, I bet there's going to be a lot of new Uber drivers coming to the platform. So if that's you, if you're a new Uber driver or even a newer Uber driver, or maybe you even have a little bit of experience, but you want to get some more information as to how you can properly maximize your time, strategy, and of course, your income driving for Uber, then this is the video for you. Hey everyone, it's Kian for the Rideshare Guy, pronounced Kian. And yes, let's get straight into the tips here for today's video. So number one, the first tip I would have for any new Uber driver is know what your job is for the passenger. Remember, you're their Uber driver. You're not their parent, you're not their caretaker, you're not there to bend to their every whim. And more specifically, they don't have to bend to yours. And of course, their comfort in terms of being in your vehicle is very, very important. You want to make sure you keep that as a high priority. But your comfort is just as important, if not more important. And you have the right to drop a ride if they make you feel uncomfortable, or if you're just uncomfortable with the situation as is. Don't feel any shame with that. But something I will shame you for, and I know if you don't do it, is making sure you guys hit that subscribe button down below, because we are posting new content every single day here on the Rideshare Guy YouTube channel. Tip number two, this is not Doordash or food delivery at all, so do not lean on tips for your income. Some Uber passengers are going to be very generous and give you a large tip, and a lot of Uber passengers won't tip you at all. It's not personal either way. I mean, I guess it's somewhat personal for the people who do tip you, but some passengers make it a habit of tipping the driver, and some just can't afford the tip. Either way, understand that tips are an additional form of income with Uber, and you should never, ever expect or anticipate drivers to tip you or to tip you a large amount. Just trust me on this one, it will only lead to disappointment. Because I've been in situations where I've taken very large rides or large reservations that are very, very long. Sure, it's paying relatively well, but it's a lot of driving, it's a lot of miles. It probably means I have to charge up my car. I'm gonna have to get dinner on the way home, or I just won't be able to eat for another hour or two. And there's a lot of costs that come into that. So even though it pays well, there's a lot that's going into the cost. And I'm just under the assumption that the passenger will tip me a pretty decent tip because I'm taking them for such a long ride. And most of the time, they do tip pretty decently. But there have been a couple instances, one specifically in mind, where they either, one, don't tip me very much, or two, don't tip me at all. And there's one specific instance where I took somebody from central Wilmington, Delaware, so think like the Philadelphia area, like 45 minutes south of that, so central Wilmington, Delaware area, and I took them all the way to the airport at Baltimore, Maryland. So it was, I think, like an hour and 45 minutes, like 2-hour drive, something crazy like that. And I had to get through an airport that I'm not super familiar with, and they tipped me $5. $5 for 2 hours of driving. So once again, tips are additional, don't lean on them. Tip number three, and this is probably gonna be the tip that infuriates a lot of Uber drivers, but I have to say it. Wait. This is a job of patience, and there will likely be times where you're sitting around waiting for rides and declining a lot of really bad rides. Nobody said this was going to be an easy job, and if it is easy in your market, then congratulations, I guess. But I do know something that is easy that I know you guys can do right now is go hit that like button down below if you guys are enjoying the video. Because like I said, we upload all the time. I'm making videos at least 1 to 2 times a month for the Rideshare Guy. So if you guys want to see more of my pretty face, make sure you drop that like button and go check out my playlist over on the Rideshare Guy YouTube channel. Tip number four, and this is probably gonna be another one that a lot of rideshare drivers don't want to hear, but you have to remember at the end of the day, this is still a job. If you're just doing this because you're bored during the summer and you don't really care about actually maximizing your income potential, just click off the video now. I can't help you. Thanks for watching. See you guys in the next one. Because while I don't recommend that most people do this as like their full-time job or like their primary source of income exclusively, it is still a job of sorts. You get to be your own boss, but that also means you have to be your own boss. You have to manage your business. You have to properly divvy your time. You probably have to select the right hours where you actually go out and put your energy towards driving for Uber. And energy, I can mean that in the literal sense too, because if you're driving an electric car like I do, that means your literal car's energy, or, you know, just your car's fuel. So be very, very careful, because not maximizing your time and not optimizing which rides you take is going to spend a lot more money than you think, not only just on gas or fueling up your car, but on your car's maintenance. So many people, and this is shocking to me, so many people do not set aside money for taxes for tax season and don't properly track their miles when it comes to actually getting around a tax season where they need to get those mileage deductions. And that's gonna lose you thousands of dollars if you are not prepared for tax season, guys. And the fifth and final tip I would suggest as an Uber driver, or as a new Uber driver, and this is something that's a little bit personal to me, this is something that I had to learn over time, is you only should really be worrying about what is in your control. You see, the harsh truth is, not everything is going to be in your control when it comes to what rides Uber decides to offer you and what Uber decides to pay for those rides. And there will be a lot of circumstances that are outside of your control, like traffic, rude passengers, Uber customer support not helping at all. Be ready for that one, because that one's gonna happen a lot. And if you only focus on the variables outside of your control, you will be miserable doing this. Trust me again on this one. So instead, work with the tools you have and do the best you can. And that's not me promising that everything will be sunshine and rainbows for you. Because hey, maybe it won't. Maybe Uber is really just not for your market. Maybe it's too slow. Maybe there's so much supply and not enough demand. Or maybe there's just some other scenario that doesn't really work for you as a driver, or as a gig driver, or just as an Uber driver, and maybe Uber won't fit for you. But the importance is really making sure that it doesn't fit. So make sure you use the tools at your disposal, focus on what's in your control, and seeing if you can adapt a strategy that will make a profitable business for you in being a rideshare driver. And those are my 5 tips for new Uber drivers starting out in 2025, and just 5 tips in general for Uber drivers in 2025. And I want to hear from the experienced Uber drivers down below in the comments. Guys, what advice do you have for new Uber drivers all around the country and all around the world? What advice would you give to them? So guys, leave it in the comments down below. And obviously, if you enjoyed this video, make sure you guys are subscribed to the Rideshare Guy. We're posting new videos all the time, and you'll be seeing my pretty face on the Rideshare Guy more frequently than you ever have. But for now, that's gonna be the end of this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and stay cool.